In this video, I'm going to be going over OpenAI's new O1 model. We've developed a new series of AI models designed to spend more time thinking before they respond. Here is the latest update on O1 research, product, and other information. Try it in ChatGPT Plus or from the API. On this main page here, openai.com/O1, there are a ton of different papers that you can read through, blog posts as well as technical papers, or their system card that they're calling it. You can take a look at a few different examples. If we take a look at the first one here, so introducing OpenAI's O1 preview. This is a new series of reasoning models for solving hard problems, and it's available today. They've developed a new series of AI models designed specifically to spend more time thinking before they respond. They can reason through complex tasks and solve harder problems than previous models in science, coding, and math. Today, they're releasing their first series in ChatGPT and within the API. This is a preview, and we expect regular updates and improvements. Alongside with the request, we're also including evaluations for the next update currently in development. Essentially how it works is through complex reasoning using chain of thought. They mentioned we train these models to spend more time thinking through the problems before they respond, much like a person would. Through training, they learn to refine their thinking process, try different strategies, and recognize their mistakes. On challenging benchmark tasks in physics, chemistry, and biology, we potentially have a model or a series of models which is at the PhD level in STEM. They mentioned we also found that it excels in math and coding. In the qualifying exam for the International Mathematics Olympians, GPT-4o only solved 13% of the problems, while the reasoning model scored 83%. Their coding abilities were evaluated in contests and reached the 89th percentile in Codeforce's completion. You can read about this within the technical research post. So they mentioned as an early model, it doesn't yet have many of the features that make ChatGPT useful, like browsing the web for information and uploading files and images. For many common cases, GPT-4o will be more capable in the near term. But for complex tasks, this is a significant advancement and represents a new level of AI capability. One of the lines that really stood out here, given this, we are resetting the counter back to 1 and naming this series OpenAI O1. This might mean that this is the new paradigm that they're aligning towards the AGI goal that they have as a company. There is some safety information like you would expect from a company like OpenAI. There's also 4 really great videos within this, which I'll link within the description of the video if you're interested. There's one on quantum physics, genetics, economics, and coding. To continue through this, the O1 series excels at accurately generating and debugging complex code to offer an efficient solution for developers. They mentioned they're also releasing OpenAI Mini, which is a faster, cheaper reasoning model that is particularly effective at coding. Mini is 80% cheaper than Preview, making it a powerful, cost-effective model for applications that require reasoning, but not a broad world knowledge. So now in terms of how to use OpenAI O1, so ChatGPT Plus and team members will be able to access it today. And both the O1 Preview as well as O1 Mini can be selected manually in the model picker. At time of launch, they're going to have 30 messages for the Preview and 50 for the Mini. We are working to increase those rates to enable ChatGPT to automatically choose the right model for the given prompt. So that's interesting in itself, where they're going to have somewhat of a router. Maybe for simpler problems, it's going to route you to something like GPT-4 Mini, and then for the hardest problems, route you to something like O1 Review. Now, right now, unfortunately, developers can only access the API if you are on Tier 5, at least right now. And then for the rate limit for those users, you're actually only going to be able to access it 2 times per minute. They mentioned we're working to increase these limits. The other interesting thing, this API for the model doesn't include function calling, streaming, support for system messages, or other features. It's really bare bones. It looks like you're going to be able to send in text and then get a block of text back. You're not even going to have that streaming effect come out on the other end like we're used to working with their API. The other great thing is they are planning to bring O1 Mini access to all free ChatGPT users. This model will ultimately be widely accessible, which is a nice thing to see. They mentioned that this is an early preview for the reasoning models in ChatGPT and the API. In addition to model updates, we expect to add browsing, file, and image uploading and other features to make them more useful to everyone. So if we just think about that for a moment, all of a sudden, if we have this incredibly powerful model that in addition to the text question that we put in, has access to the internet, this alone is going to potentially be a huge leap. But this is not something that's out of the box with the release. Now, the very last line here, they do actually say we plan to continue to develop and release the GPT series of models in addition to this new series of models. So it looks like they're going to continue on the GPT-3, GPT-4, GPT-5 type of stream, in addition to this new stream that looks to be for solving much harder problems. There are some other great demonstrations here. So this is a good example where it gives you essentially a really good description of what you're asking for. There are some examples of how this works. Within ChatGPT, you will see that it thought for X number of seconds. It's going to go over a high-level overview of the steps of thought that it had, and then ultimately it's going to give you the output for what you asked. This is an example where they asked for a game of Snake. So this is just one example. Use arrow keys to move the koala. Avoid strawberries. After 3 seconds, a squirrel will appear. Find and touch the squirrel to win. Press any key to start. And if I just play the latter half of the video here, we see you found the squirrel, and then we see the koala there. You were hit by a strawberry, you lose. And it's this simple little game, but given how complex the instructions were, to get this within one shot, it goes without saying, is very impressive. Now, in terms of some of the specifics for the models, it has a context limit of 128K and a knowledge cutoff of October 23. The O1 preview model is going to be $15 per million tokens of input, $60 per million tokens of output. Now for the O1 mini, which is the fast, cost-efficient reasoning model tailored to coding, math, and science use cases, again, this also has 128K context and an October knowledge cutoff. But the pricing is significantly cheaper, which is going to be $3 per million tokens of input and $12 per million token of output. Now, let's just take a quick look at some of the evaluation metrics that they have here. So they have a math competition, code competition, as well as PhD level science questions. Now for math, it jumps from at 13.4 to 83. And for competition code, this goes from 11 all the way up to 89. So O1 greatly improves over GPT-4o on challenging reasoning benchmarks. One of the big flagship metrics that is usually touted with these LLM releases is the MMLU. And what's interesting here is they actually tucked it away, but it does score a 92.3% for the MMLU. And if you look at the different exams as well as the MMLU categories, you can see how it rates across different pieces. So in chemistry, math, law, you see pretty significant improvements basically across the board across all of these different evaluation metrics. So if you're interested, I'm going to put all of these different links within the description of the video where you can check them out. But otherwise, I encourage you to check it out on ChatGPT and try it out if you have a ChatGPT Plus account. I plan on making future videos with demonstrations of my experience using it and to see it try and solve potentially hard coding problems. So if you're interested in that type of content, subscribe to the channel. I'll have more videos over the coming days. But otherwise, that's it for this one. If you found this video useful, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Otherwise, until the next one.